Howdy doody, buckaroonies. So you're there in your studio working on a new track, and you stop and think to yourself, man, I really wish I could add some tape warmth and roundness to this whole thing. Someone walks in the room and says, don't worry dude, I totally got you, brosif. There's this plugin out there that offers the sound of tape as well as access to every parameter you could possibly want, like the tone of the tape, the amount of wibble and wobble, the thickness of the tape itself, the amount of saturation, and just about every other parameter you could want, and also, it's totally free. You would then look to them and probably say something to the effect of, who are you and how did you get in here, and why are you not wearing any pants? Here we have Chow Tape Model by Chow DSP, and in case you didn't already feel like you've accomplished nothing in life, this was actually made as part of a school project by the developer, which is incredibly impressive. This plugin, I think, is one of the better and more musical sounding tape emulations out there, and it's absolutely free. But what's really cool about this plugin is it's taking the idea of physical modeling and applying that to a tape machine. Chow Tape is great for everything from adding some heat and glue to your master bus to applying some smoked out vibes to your key loops and just about everything in between, because we get access to so many different parameters and fine-tuning options to really nail down the exact sound of tape that you want for whatever application you might be using it for. What's really cool about Chow Tape is you're not restricted to emulating any one certain tape machine like other tape plugins do. Instead, you are emulating the characteristics of tape and you get access to dial in the parameters of that tape machine. So you're essentially building your own tape machine on the fly with this thing. So in the laws section here, for instance, we have control over the thickness, and this is the actual thickness of the tape itself. So we have this in microns, and this results in rounding off the high frequencies. And you can hover over here and see a little tooltip in the bottom that tells you what that parameter does. We get control over the spacing, the speed, so we can go all the way down to 3.75 inches per second, up to 30, and then go way up to 50 or way down to only 1. This is actually really neat because tape machines just can't do stuff like this. You can't really dial in the amount of tape degradation other than running out in the parking lot, dragging your tape across the ground and hopefully getting a good sound out of it. Here we can really dial that in and say, nope, that's too much, back it off, or say, no, I want more, and then dial it in more and go well beyond the accurate realm of a tape simulator and go more into the experimental side of things. So enough about all that, let's listen to how this thing sounds. So let's take a listen to Chow Tape being applied to a key loop, and then we'll flip through some of the presets and then start playing with some of the parameters to see how they impact the sound. Now let's start tweaking a couple things here. And that is the magic of Chow Tape. You can really dial these things in on the fly and start adding some color to your sounds. Another great way you can use Chow Tape is to make sounds that are a bit digital and make them a little bit less sterile sounding by adding some tapey, warmed up vibes to them. So I've got a synth pad here. Now, on its own, this sounds okay. It's just maybe a bit cold. There's some saturation applied, but it doesn't really feel real. It's still, I think, obvious to our ear that this is a synthetic sound with some saturation, but by bringing in Chow Tape, we can subtly bring in a bit of realism to it in a pretty interesting way. Let's take it off. And let's bring it back in. I think it's things like that that make this plugin really worth checking out, because it can add some subtle enhancement and life to your tracks without really being an overly ridiculous cartoony thing that's super obvious. It's a very tiny hint of something that you can't quite pin your finger on, but it does really make a pretty big difference in the end. Now, on the opposite end of things, we can push this way beyond something sensible and go into something more ridiculous, and I couldn't get through this video without demonstrating one of my favorite sounds on Earth, which is running a really aggressive drum kit into a tape machine super hard. And I think this plugin does a really good job of nailing that sound. If you've ever worked with tape in real life, you'll know kind of that character I'm talking about, and this plugin, I think, really, really nails it. Let's give a listen to the drum loop here before and bring in Chow Tape after. So that is just some drums. They sound very digital and just like sampled, but let's bring in Chow Tape and absolutely crush these things and see what this sounds like. So I think you get the idea. It's a drum kit running into a FET presser getting crushed really hard, and it sounds a little flat and lifeless, but let's run this through Chow Tape and hear the difference that that makes. And I think you get the idea. That is the magic of Chow Tape. And I think that brings us to the end of this video. Chow Tape is available right now for the low, low price of $0. So a big thank you to the developer for making this thing and sharing it with the world. This is really, really cool. And I look forward to seeing whatever big things come for Chow DSP in the future, or whatever company is lucky enough to hire this developer and bring them into their team. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope this inspires you to get out there and make something awesome. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon.